Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In case you are a first timer on this channel, this is Reggie School of Fashion. And if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly do so now, and don't forget to put on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. In today's video, I will be showing you how to take measurements for a male native trousers. I meet my model, Emmanuel Yemi, so it will be our model for today. And also Simon, which is the mannequin, so I'll be making use of both of them. Get it? So in taking a male native trousers, please you have to take note of this. The way you take measurement for male native trousers is different from the corporate trousers. This is because male native trousers has no zipper. So there is no zipper to open when putting it on and off. So that is why the way you take the measurement is different from that of the corporate or English trousers. So I will start with the waist circumference measurement. So when you are drafting pattern for a male native trousers, you need the waist circumference measurement. This is not optional, it is necessary. And in taking the waist circumference measurement, you take the measurement round the real waistline. So when you are taking waist measurement for men, you take their real waist measurement, unlike that of female where you make use of the natural waistline. And how do you know the real waist measurement? You know, men usually has a very narrow waist. So the narrow part of the down part is the real waist measurement. And that is where I'm measuring now. You tell your client to raise his arm a little this way. Then the measuring tape comes from the back to the front, not from the front to the back. It comes from the back to the front. So you can see the way I wrap this measuring tape. So as you can see, so the measurement is taken accurately. So the waist measurement I have for him is 33. And please take note of this. Take note of this. Every measurement I'm taking in this video works only for pattern drafting. If you are making use of freehand, this method of measurement taking will not work for you, because the way you take measurement for freehand method is different from pattern drafting. But I'll be glad to tell you that pattern drafting method is the best method in clothing construction. And if you don't know how to draft a male native trousers, or you are used to freehand method of drafting a male native trousers, I recommend my video on how to draft a male native trousers for you, making use of pattern drafting. The link to the video is in the description box and it will be of help. After the waist circumference measurement, another essential measurement needed in drafting a male native trousers is the crotch depth. This is the point where most people have issues in terms of taking measurements. How to get the crotch depth, how to measure for the crotch depth, and how do you insert the crotch depth. To get the crotch depth, you don't measure the crotch depth measurement on your client because it is a native trousers. But if it is an English trousers, that is when you take the crotch depth measurement. What we measure for crotch depth is a crotch circumference. In this video, I'll be showing you two different ways of getting the crotch depth measurement. So the first method is taking the measurement directly on your client, while the second method is the formula. We make use of formula, then you get the accurate crotch depth measurement. So now I'll be showing you how to measure for crotch on the mannequin. In taking the crotch circumference measurement, I will start from the front waist point. So this is the front waist point of this mannequin. On your client, you will see the point which is the front waist point. And if your client is putting on a belt, trousers with belt, tell him to remove the belt so that it doesn't add to the measurement. So you lay the tip of the measuring tape on the front waist point. Then the measuring tape passes through in between the two legs, then comes upwards to the back waist point. So when you take the measurement this way, whatever you get as the value, you divide it by 2. And that is the crotch depth measurement. Please don't mistake crotch depth to crotch circumference. This is the crotch circumference. Crotch circumference divided by 2 equals to crotch depth. Another method you can use in getting the crotch depth measurement is the formula I said earlier. Then how do you calculate this formula? To calculate this formula, you need the hip circumference measurement. So that is where the hip circumference measurement comes up. So you take the hip circumference measurement of your client, divide it by 4. So whatever you have as the answer, you add 3 inches to it. Now, depending on the size of your client, if it is a medium size, you add 2.5. If it is a large figure, you add 3 inches. But the max you can add is 3 inches. So you can add 3 inches, you can add 2.5. So please don't add 2 inches because it's better you have more than less. So don't add 2 inches, 2.5 and 3 inches. Now I'll be showing you how to take the hip circumference measurement. If you are taking the crotch circumference measurement, you don't need the hip circumference measurement. Either of the two, either the hip circumference or the crotch depth circumference. So the two measurements are used to get the crotch depth measurement. In taking the hip circumference measurement, you tell your client to stand at a lat, not at his. So not too straight. The leg should not be too close, but there should be a little space in between the two legs. And the measuring tape comes from the back. So let your measuring tape fall at the center of the buttocks, then it comes to the front. Make sure it's lined on the fullest part of your client's hip. So it falls on the fullest part of the hip. So you can see what I'm doing. This is the fullest part of his hip. So then you wrap the measuring tape . So make sure your client remove whatever he has in his back pocket. So tell him to remove everything so that you have an accurate measurement. So you should be able to move the measuring tape this way. So this shows it is not tight, but it is taken accurately. Please don't forget this measurement works only for pattern drafting. I measure 39 inches as his hip circumference measurement. So the hip circumference measurement is divided by 4. 39 divided by 4 is 9.75. 39 divided by 4 is 9.75. So that 9.75, I will add 2.5 inches to that because he is a medium figure. So another thing you need to bear in mind is this. When you divide the hip circumference measurement by 4, whatever you get is what you use. If you don't know how to locate the value on your measuring tape, which means you don't know how to read your measuring tape accurately, I have a video on how to read a measuring tape accurately. You will learn how to read your measuring tape beyond 0.5, 0.75, 1 inch, 2 inches. So you will learn how to read the small lines you have on your measuring tape. You will learn how to convert fraction values to decimal, decimal to fraction. When you divide with your calculator, the value you got on your calculator is in decimal form. But what we have on the measuring tape is in fraction. So if you don't know how to convert decimal to fraction, you will not know how to locate that value on your measuring tape. So that is why it is necessary you learn how to read your measuring tape accurately. The link to the video is in the description box as well. Because if you don't do that, if you don't learn how to read your measuring tape and you get a particular value when dividing your hip circumference measurement, you now round it up to the value you are familiar with on your measuring tape. Whatever you add as an extra is going to duplicate in 4 places. And when you use that as the crotch depth measurement, it will have effects, which means the crotch depth will be longer than the measurement of the wearer, and it will not look nice on the wearer at all. Another measurement needed when drafting a male native trousers is the knee length measurement. This measurement is taken in vertical form. So the measurement is taken from the waistline, that is the real waistline, up to the knee point. So I will lay the tip of measuring tape on his waistline. Please, this measurement is taken towards the side of the leg, not the front of the leg. So by the side, the measuring tape comes down to the exact knee point, his exact knee point. This is totally different from that of female, where we subtract 2 to 3 inches above the knee. But in this case, we'll be making use of the real knee point, which means his knee point measurement is 22. After taking the knee length measurement, I will also take the circumference measurement of the knee. Every measurement taken in length are also taken in circumference. The body measurement is divided into 2 categories. These are the measurement taken in length and the measurement taken in circumference. So I've taken the length measurement of the knee. I will also take the circumference of the knee. So in taking the circumference of the knee, this is taken exactly on the knee. So the measuring tape comes from the back. You wrap it around the knee. Please take note, you are measuring one leg, not 2 legs together. So one leg, you wrap it this way. You can see the way I take this measurement, it is firm. It's firm on his leg. But if I take it this way, it will not work. So what you do is tell your client to raise his leg. You can see as he's raising the leg, the measuring tape is moving upward, which means that measurement will not work. So I will release my measuring tape until it's free. So, and when you are taking measurement, always communicate with your client. So the client is the wearer. So let him know. Ask him, are you okay with this? If it is too tight for him, what is too tight for Mr. A might be too loose for Mr. B. So you have to ask your client, is this okay by you? So are you comfortable like this? Tight
yes.
Or loose?
It's accurate.
Is accurate. So, which means his knee circumference is 16. So you can see the ease we have in between. So this is essential. You have to take note of this. You have to do it this way. So don't measure it this way, or else there will be issue after constructing the trousers. So the next measurement I'll be taking is the length of the trousers. The length of the trousers is taken from the waist up to the ankle. So I will lay the tip of the measuring tape on the waistline, and the measurement is taken towards the side of the leg, not the front. So I'm bringing it down to the knee point. When the measuring tape is coming down, make sure it comes to the point where you measure the knee length. So that is the side that goes in around the knee area. So the measuring tape relax on that point this way. Then you leave the one you hold on the waistline, hold your measuring tape on the knee point, then extend it downward to the ankle. Make sure it touches the bone on the ankle. So this is the modern way of taking trousers length measurement. So the measurement will stay on around the ankle after construction. But if it is for the traditional method, you extend it downward to touch the floor. So the measuring tape touches the floor, it gets to the floor. So, and I have 44 for that. So which means the trousers will be like 3 inches longer than his real trousers length. That is a traditional method. But for the modern method, you stop on the ankle. As I said earlier, that every measurement taken in length are also taken in circumference. I've taken the length of the trousers, then I will take the ankle circumference. So in measuring the ankle of your client, it is not taken this way, not like this. If you measure it this way and your client managed to put on the trousers, I promise you, he will not put it off. It's either offing it by blade or scissors. But to take the ankle circumference, you start taking it from the back of the leg this way, wrap it round, and if you can't do it like that, just measure it, make sure it is loose, not tight. Then tell your client to raise his leg a little and make sure the measuring tape is able to come out of his leg. There's a standard measurement used for ankle, and that is 15. The 15 is a standard measurement, and that 15 might work for someone and not work for another person. It might be too small for somebody and too wide for another person. It depends on the size of the leg. It depends on how big the leg of your client is. So it is necessary for you to take that measurement since you are a bespoke tailor. So there's nothing wrong about that. Take the measurement. Make sure you wrap the measuring tape. Once again, I'm showing you. Make it loose this way and bring it out. When you are bringing it out, it shouldn't come out freely. Don't let the measuring tape come out freely. If it is too free, the ankle area of the trousers might be too wide, and it also depends on the wearer as well. Communicate with him and ask him how wide he wants the trousers hemline to be, how wide he wants it to be. If he said, I want it to be fitted, very fitted, then you make sure your measuring tape is able to come out. So this is coming out, but it's tight. You understand? This is tight, so I can add to it, add like 0.5 inches to it. This is 14. The way 14 comes out is different from the way 14.5 comes out. So that is how to take the ankle circumference measurement. So when you are taking this measurement, you have to communicate with your client. You know what works for Mr. A might not work for Mr. B. What Mr. B likes can be different from what Mr. A likes. So it is necessary you ask your client how fitted he wants the hemline to be or how wide he wants it to be. If you want it in a traditional way or in a modern way. So this will help and guide you on how to take the measurement for each client. So you don't use Mr. A pattern for Mr. B pattern. So you ask him, how do you want the hemline to be, fitted or wide, traditional, modern? So that will help you. This measurement is very important because no matter how fitted, no matter how fine, no matter how good the trousers you constructed it, if your client is not, it cannot put it on and off easily, or he find it too wide for him, he will not like it. So the last measurement I'll be showing you is the thigh circumference measurement. This measurement is very essential in native trousers construction. It is called thigh or lap. Some people call it lap. So when you say lap or you see thigh, they are still the same thing. So that is measuring one leg of your client. That is the thigh. So in measuring the thigh, you wrap your measurement, wrap it around the thigh. You can see the way I take this measurement. This is not the proper way of taking the thigh circumference measurement. If you measure it this way, it will not work. The crotch area will be too tight. So you bring it up to the hip level. Please pay a close attention to this. Can you see the way I'm holding the measuring tape? Let it come up. So when you are taking it this way, make sure it is very tight, because bringing it up already, we have added some ease to it. And don't forget, this measurement is for a male native trousers. We are using all this method because the trousers is without zipper. There is no opening at the front and back. The front and back are closed. So the only allowance you have is what you have on the waistline, and also the way you take the measurement. So this measurement will not work for English or corporate trousers. It's for native trousers only. So make sure it's tight around here. So you can see I measure 25. When you bring it down, this is where the measurement is coming to. Can you see what I have? Can you see the way it is compared to taking it this way? So that is how to take the thigh circumference measurement. The thigh circumference measurement and the crotch depth measurement are like brothers and sisters. The thigh circumference measurement is divided by 2 and it is inserted on the crotch depth line. If you have watched my video on how to make a male native trousers, you will understand what I'm saying. And if you are here to watch this video, you want to learn how to make a trousers using the pattern drafting method, which is the standard method in clothing construction, I recommend this video for you. The link to the video is in the description box. I will also recommend my video on how to read a measuring tape accurately. This video will give you deep insights on how to read your measuring tape without having any issue. If you know how to take body measurements, you know how to draft your pattern, and when it comes to dividing your measurements and getting the right value on your measuring tape, you cannot do that, this video will be of help. The link to the video is in the description box. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. I believe this video has been helpful in one way or the other. And if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly click the subscription button now. Like this video, share this video with your friends and loved ones. Till we meet again, when I will be dropping another beautiful video from the stable of Reggae School of Fashion. Always remember, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.